Yes guys, what's good? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to 6:57 a.m. An early start this morning just to catch the best of the weather, and as you can see, managing to do that perfectly. So back in the Lake District, and today I'm going to be taking on what's considered, depending on where you find your information, to be the fourth highest peak in England, which is Skiddaw. And you can't see it, but just over the back there's an absolutely unbelievable ridge ride. Kind of got a thing for those at the moment, so we're going to take on that, and I'd say it's a much better ridge ride than the one that was in the last video. If you didn't check that out, I'll put the link up at the top. So yeah, we'll just dive straight in. So this route itself is one that I've done before, but I've not done now for about 2.5 years maybe. And when I did it, I didn't come this way, so I'm taking a slightly different route up, but I'll be taking the same route down. And what you're going to see at the minute, or just popping round this corner, is going to be the peak and the summit of Skiddaw itself, which stands at just over 3,000 feet. So it's pretty sizable. And just on the right hand side of me is Megatower, which I did last week. I'll stick the link to that in the section just above. But yeah, this is a bit of a new section for me, this the ascent, but I know it traverses along the side of Megatower, and then we're going to cut back on ourselves, cross a little river and back across a little ridge line across the front there. I don't know if you can see it, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but we're going to cut back in on ourselves, and it's quite steep. But it's got some unbelievable views. So just checking in with sort of what the riding's been like up to now. Obviously not long into it, just over half an hour, and at the moment it's all been like this pathway that we're on, but the views have been absolutely unbelievable already, and we're still nowhere near the top, so looking forward to having a nice clear view from up there. But as you can see, or you might be able to see, I'm going to be staying on this path, following it across and over the little river that you can see at the bottom there. And then about midway along that mountain or hillside, you might be able to see a little path that literally cuts it in half straight across. I'm going to be traversing back across that, so it's almost up and round over the river, up that incline, straight across, and that'll bring me out on that sort of hilltop just there before I start the big slope up to the summit itself. And then the descent is on the other side of that ridge that we're looking at now. But it's honestly, what a morning for it. Sorry, just getting back on the bike, but yeah, what a morning for it. Perfect temperature, you know, pedalling uphill, a little bit of a chill in the air, just to cool the body temperature down. It's absolutely ideal. Couldn't have asked for a better morning. So I'm now just approaching the point where I'm going to switch back on myself and start on Skiddaw's hillside itself. What a view to come round the corner to. Lush. Right, let's get across here. You probably won't hear me over the water, so I'll just get across first. But yeah, I'm going to be switching over to the hillside that's got, or Skiddaw's hillside rather, in a second. But if this was a loop that you wanted to do yourself, I've started from Threlkeld, but a lot of people do start from Keswick, obviously with it being the bigger town, or city, not sure which. With it being the bigger town, it's got a lot more parking, a lot more facilities, so a lot more people choose to start from there. But yeah, I started from Threlkeld just because I was familiar with it after doing Megatower. Now we've moved on to a little bit rougher terrain after being on that fire road kind of stuff. Hopefully more of this to come. A little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting on the climb than it is to do just a plain old fire road. But yeah, about 40 minutes in. Not really done much in the way of elevation, but that's going to be all changed. You can see possibly just a walker on the left hand side there where he is, I'm going, and that's when we'll start getting some elevation in. So catch. Welcome back, guys. If you're still with us, be sure to hit that like button, and also give us a subscribe as well if you're enjoying the content. It really helps the channel out. So we've just made the switch across now to the Skiddaw side, and just heading across to get up onto higher ground. Must have been wet here the last few days. I'll just ride through the middle of it, I think. One of the things that I enjoy most about these adventure days, as I'll call them, is the views that you get while you're riding. You know, when you're doing trails and anything like that, you tend to be penned in within a forest, which is great, but it just means that you're dodging trees and you can't really see a great deal other than the track, and that's where your focus is. But on these, like I say, adventure days, as I call them, everywhere you are, you're just constantly getting a new view, and it just looks absolutely sensational. It's just a completely different style of riding altogether, and it's nice to mix things up. And I think, I'm not sure if it's type 1 or type 2 fun, but this is definitely the kind of fun where you've got to earn the descent. So far it's been relatively easy. In fact, no, it's been super easy. But I know what's coming, and I know that at some point I will have to get off the bike. Up to now I've been on the bike all the way. Coming up to an hour in with about 900 feet of elevation so far, give or take. So it's just been a slow steady climb up to this point. The terrain's been easy enough to ride. Definitely suitable for all abilities so far. The ridge that I'm going to descend down on is what may cause a few problems to some riders depending on experience. And I'm going to guess that this is a point for me to cut the camera as I start a walk. I ain't getting up there. I'll catch back up shortly. So just looks like a little bit of a techie climb on the traverse of Skiddaw. Just makes things interesting. But up to that point, that little point, it's been pretty straightforward. It's just this underground that you can see now. But I'm led to believe this path that we're on now gets quite skinny and quite steep further on. High line, low line, we'll go low. Not the place you want to catch a pedal, because that's quite a tumble down the left. Little pop. Yes. Now then, see if we can get up here. Right, take the high line this time. Lost it. Right, just going to bring the drone back in. So we've got the traverse done and dusted and out the way rather. Makes it sound like I didn't really enjoy it. We are done the traverse and now heading, I don't know if you'll hear me at this bit, so with the traverse done and behind us, we're now looking more at doing the ascent. We're now on basically the foot of Skiddaw, and this is where the climbing's going to begin really. And I'm expecting a push up for a lot of it, to be honest. This first stretch here, just after this river crossing, this first stretch obviously looks fine, but it does steepen up and sharpen up pretty quickly, so fully expecting a push up on that bit. But so far the ride itself's been absolutely beautiful, really nice views, weather's absolutely perfect, which obviously always helps. So just touching base from a geography kind of point of view, I know people that like to know where they are and what they're looking at. So just on the other side of this little mound behind me, little mound is probably pretty big, just on the other side of that is the town of Keswick and Derwent Water. Just over to my right over there you've got Blencathra and the peaks that surround that, and then spinning around to just what's behind me is what we're going up, which is the pathway up to Skiddaw. You might be able to see it just snaking just here, and that's what we're going to be heading up. So at the minute it's still rideable, but I don't know if the camera will do it justice with how steep that is, but it looks as though it's going to be a get up, or get off rather, and push from that point onwards. But we'll give it a go. I dare say that the camera angle's probably not going to do this justice, but this climb is without doubt a push up. There's parts of it that an e-bike would be able to do, but ultimately it's a push up. You can see just up top yellow and red Walker, that's where we're heading, and then just over that ridge. But up to this point you might be able to see that little pathway snaking just in to the foot of the hill. That's where we came across and started. Everything since then has been push up. You got Derwent Water just at the back with the town of Keswick just in front there. But yeah, up to now this has definitely been more of a challenging push up than Blencathra was, and certainly more of a tougher ascent than Helvellyn, because up to this point it's just been push 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 and just no opportunity to get on the bike whatsoever. I'm just hoping the camera does justice to how much of a push up it is. So I've been doing this now for about 20 minutes. Hopefully I've only got 20 left, but I doubt it. So we'll catch up shortly. So managed to get back on the bike and do a little bit of pedalling. I'd say up to this point it's probably, including the sort of traverse and such where we started, it's probably about 75% riding, 25% push up, which good stats really considering the height of the mountain. Like I say, it's about 3,000 feet, just over. Now up ahead on the left hand side there you might see that little ridge. Now just before that, the pathway that I'm on now splits into two, so you can go up to the left and then sort of drop in and back up onto Skiddaw, or you can stay on this path that I'm on and it sort of veers off to the right hand side, and from there it sort of goes round the base of that hill there that you can see. Not yet decided which one I'm going to do, see when I get up there. But closing in on the summit, including stoppages and all the rest, probably about an hour and 50 minutes in, so making decent time. Like I say, it's not been too bad of a pedal in terms of the altitude and making up the ascent, but that push up back there was brutal. Much worse than Grisdale, much worse than Helvellyn or Blencathra, for sure. So managed to make it up to the top of that crossroads that I mentioned. Down just behind me you've got Keswick, and then on my left here is where the path splits off, so you can go up that side there and it drops down this little ridge and rejoins basically this path here. So what you're doing there, if you're going up there, is just giving yourself a bit of a climb and a little bit of an added descent. If you follow this route, you're going round the bottom of this hillside and then across and up to Skiddaw. So I'm going to stick on this path and just keep following it that way, but I'm going to stop for 5 minutes and grab my breakfast. Absolutely famished, so I'll catch back up when I'm on the bike. I'd be amazed if you can hear me because of the wind, but what I'm going to try and do is just cut some of it out and try and fill you in on what's going on. So just up ahead is the summit, so I'm just going to finish this last little bit, then head to that, and then what we're going to be doing is coming down and just dropping over this hillside here, traversing across and following that ridge line all the way across, and then dropping down the side and over the other side of it, and that's called Ullock Pike. So it's quite a techy descent, but it'll take us down and into the woodland at the bottom. Right, and that's the end of that recording. Right, we'll get to the summit and then we'll take you down there and get out of this wind. That crosswind is absolutely nuts. Pulling the front of the bike all over the place. Wrestling just to keep it straight here. So there's probably no way that you can hear me, but just to let you know that I made it to the summit. Windy as hell, so I'm not going to stay up here too long. Little trick point behind me. So time now just to get down that descent over there, that big spine, and that's Ullock Pike. So I'm going to get out of this wind, get down there. It's just like shale surfing is this. God, it's so steep. Again, it's probably one of them that's on camera, doesn't look anything at all, but trust me, it's steep. And with the wind pulling at the front tyre, it's just making it so difficult. Just get a bit of momentum. But yeah, that wind is just tugging and pushing the front tyres. Yeah, I could really do that wind dropping down a little bit. Keswick point, very windy. Just gripping hold of that front end. Oh, that was more than sketchy at times. But that's just what we've come down there. That ridge. Or that traverse, if you will. And I thought we might have got out the wind. Evidently not just yet. So I just started the traverse across to Ullock Pike, and I thought I might have been able to duck out of the wind a little bit, but it's just absolutely relentless this morning. Just happy to be off the side of Skiddaw, because as I was coming down that line, front wheel was just getting pulled all over it, which meant it was so hard work to just maintain any sort of line or any sort of discipline. Really, really challenging conditions. For all it's nice and warm and it's sunny, that wind was ruthless and it came from nowhere really. This morning when I set off it was calm, when I arrived at the bottom of the mountain, calm. The moment I got anywhere near the summit, it was just like a hurricane. Looks like we've got one more push up just before we can go down again. At the top. I was hoping that wind had died down a little bit more than it has, so I could try and just communicate a little bit what I'm riding. So we're now going up and over Ullock Pike, and it's a nice, that was good, nice trekky, techy traverse rather. And that wind has died down a little bit now, but yeah, this ridge, really nice technical bit of riding. Not too difficult, but just fun, poppy, a little bit of everything. Might have to actually push up this little bit here. Definitely have to push up this little bit here. So there's two routes, left and right, and we're going to take this one to the right. Ew. Nope. Yeah, there's no ride in this bit. Although I'm sure someone on an e-bike will prove me wrong. But now we can get back on. Unreal views down below. Just. And the wind's back, so I'll shut up a sec. We're going to go straight on, I think. No, should have gone left. Right, about face, learn from my mistakes. Comment below if you can see Loch Ness, because I'm not looking. Nessie might be there somewhere. The views as you come over that ridge then were just sensational. Have a look. Very similar to Blaine Catherine in that it's take your time, pick a line and just commit to that line. and trust that your bike will do what it does. Couple of different routes. Let's try this one. Don't know if I picked the right one. No, I should have gone over and round that one. Right, no problem. Right, we'll pick up in two when I can get that. In fact, we'll take you down. I don't know if it's easier this way or better this way. Trying to pick the best line. Right, I'll do a little exploring and we'll catch you up in two. So just a little breather to try and give you a scale of what I'm coming down and why I'm trying to pick the best route. So the bike's now level and you can see basically the cliff edge, and I've just had to carry the bike down this bit here. Doesn't seem to be a clear path down, more just multiple little gullies. But yeah, it's all that sort of angle, and I'm not Red Bull hardlining today, so take it easy. So I'll probably hike it just to this flat point there and then we'll pick it back up. So with that steep climb section just behind me, should now have a better chance to ride. As you can see, it's a pretty techy descent, but good fun, really good fun. Just threading your way down, looking for the best way to stay on the bike. And we'll go down that way. Lovely. Yeah, that was nice. Really nice. Yeah, it was a very challenging section, that section. Like you saw from the video, it was just a sheer cliffside almost. And with the wind today already tugging at the front wheel, made it interesting to sit, at least. So nice. Just once again, oh, people coming. Might have to jump off here. Morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
Yeah, good.
Happy days, that'll do. Have a good day. Good of them. Move out the way. But yeah, just coming back to what I was about to say, just comparing this to Blencathra and such. It's a lot more physical, it's a lot tougher. Now I did get off the bike a couple of times at Blencathra, but it was just for those smaller sections. This has just been super steep and you're on and off pretty quickly, but straight back on. Thank you, morning. Quick pause for breath, grab a drink, we'll catch up in a sec. Yeah, I wouldn't like to come up this way. I think doing the ascent the way that I did it and the descent the way I did it is the way I'd always do this mountain. The push-up is really not fun at all, but at least it's just easy enough in terms of like terrain, it's straightforward enough. I certainly wouldn't like to be pushing up this and trying to hike the bike up over some of the terrain. Much more fun to ride down than it is to go up. Like causing an avalanche behind me. So just coming into what will be the last part of the descent. We've got the most techy sections out the way. Most of it now just very similar to what I'm on before it drops down into the forest, and you get on those, you know, those forest paths, mud, gravel, etc. But walkers coming up, watch out for them. Yeah, you can see the conditions under the tyre changing now. It's getting a lot greener, more brown, more mud, less rock. Which is nice, because these rocks jumping up at my frame's not nice. Cheers, thank you. Don't want to catch your back wheel on that. Bunny hop practice. Yeah, much more familiar terrain. You just can't see it because of the overgrowth. Yeah, I just had to double check my my bearings then, just to make sure I was going the right way, just because the road, or the path rather, split off. Last thing I wanted was a wrong turn, but both paths go to the actual road itself, which takes you back into Keswick. Ooh, I thought that was off-piste. But yeah, both roads take you into Keswick. But this one's longer, so I thought I'd take this way. Bit faster as well. Little pop. Yep. You might be able to hear the road just on my right hand side, and that's what takes you into Keswick. Lost count of the river crossings today. Well, I suppose it's not a river, but right, and then that's us joining the road, left Keswick and Threlkeld. What's good, guys? Welcome back. So safely down and off the mountain, fortunately. The wind up there was absolutely savage, really pulling and tugging at the front of the bike when you're trying to, you know, plant the front wheel down and make your way down. It was tough going for sections of it. In terms of the ride itself, a really good and really fun, rewarding ride. The push up itself, pretty brutal, but it's nice to have that sort of traverse that we did at the start before, you know, sort of going across Blencathra and then onto Skiddaw. That traverse was really nice. The push up was absolutely savage, really brutal, but then the descent down and over Ullock Pike rather, made it really rewarding. So it was a really good pedal. Technical, fast flowing in sections. Very similar to the other stuff in the Lake District, where you've got to be paying attention constantly. One wrong move and you're over the bars and sliding pretty far down, to be honest, in most cases, but really good ride. Hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you tune into the next video that I upload, because I'm teetering on the edge of 500 subscribers, and when I get that 500 subscribers, we're going to do a little prize draw to everyone that's subbed, just as a little thank you. So keep your eyes out for that competition dropping in the next video, and hopefully see you on the trail soon. Take it easy.